What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Too Good for Theaters breakdown. Today, we're going to be going through the Patriots' 17-30 loss in Arizona here coming off the bye. So let's get right into this breakdown. So starting off here from the offensive perspective, I was a little interested to kind of see if the Patriots would introduce some more concept offensively coming off the bye. You know, you get guys more familiar with the scheme and just really honestly just having more fresh legs. And at times today, we really saw that specifically, I would say, with Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson, who both themselves had great days today. I would say the fresh legs really helped them out. And I do think that the Patriots really took advantage of a little bit of a weakness with the Arizona Cardinals defense today, and that was running to the perimeter. And frankly, I would have liked to see Alex Van Pelt at times run it more towards the perimeter. And there are a couple plays in particular that I'm thinking of, but I would say that the play that they really had a ton of success was some of that outside zone, those stretch plays, running behind Mike Onwenu as well as DeMontre Jacobs. I think they both had a real nice game today in terms of run blocking and really created a lot of holes, or frankly just pushed some of the defenders inside to spring some outside runs for both Gibby and Dre on the day. And especially when a guy like Mack Wilson goes down earlier on in the game for the Cardinals, that's certainly a big loss for them, obviously. Former Patriot Mack Wilson, one of a pretty solid edge defender in this league. That's an area that I think the Patriots really exploited at times, but I would have liked to see them exploit even more, as I said before. But a couple of the plays that I'm really referring to was honestly, it was just a couple fourth down plays where I was a little questioning why they didn't go back to something. And the first one I wanted to talk about was the fourth down play where the Patriots actually converted. I believe it was 4th and 2 from around midfield. I think it was a 2-score game at this point. But Alex Van Pelt kind of schemes up a little bit of a halfback toss, and it was to the left side. I would have liked it to the right side more so, just because of how Mike Onwenu and DeMontre Jacobs were blocking compared to Layden Robinson, as well as Vidarian Lowe on the day. But it allowed the Patriots did a nice job of kind of blocking every man, and it really allowed Ramondre Stevenson to be one-on-one with either a linebacker or a secondary defender. And with the fresh legs, that's a really tough cover for either one of those position groups. And Ramondre does a nice job getting to the outside, bounces it all the way, and picks up the first down there on the 4th down. Whereas in the red zone, later on in the game, after continuing to have some really nice perimeter runs with Gibby and Dre, the Patriots decided to bring in City Cell and run the ball right down the middle, especially to the left side behind Layden Robinson. I understand you want to get the rookie some touches, get him some confidence, but at times he just gets out-muscled during his rookie season, and that's kind of something that happened right there. And the Cardinals just did an absolute great job of kind of creating a wall there. It did not allow Ramondre Stevenson to break through it all. They had a lot of secondary defenders coming in from the second level there that really halted that run. But like I said before, I would have kept the ball on the perimeter like they had earlier in the drive to convert that 4th down. And ultimately, that was kind of a little bit of a changing point there. They were unable to come away in the red zone with any types of points. But talking about the offensive line more on the day, I would say that the right side of the line had a much better game than the left side of the line. And I'm going to lump Ben Brown into the left side of the line this game because he had a couple of faulty snaps that just really didn't allow Drake Maye to do much on certain plays. And at times, Drake Maye even actually was able to overcome it just being the playmaker that he was. But Vidarian Lowe had a really bad 2-play sequence. I believe it was a run and then a passing play. And both times, I think that the first one might have honestly been a little bit of a miscommunication with the snap count because he just absolutely did not block anyone on the play. Or maybe it's just absolute miscommunication with his fellow linemen of who he's supposed to block, but he just was staring at air. And then the second play, same thing happens, untouched, absolutely gets obliterated by a speed rush, and Drake Maye takes a huge hit from his blind side there. And, Vidarian Lowe has to be better, and frankly, the left side of the line has to be better. But as I said before, I do think that there is encouraging signs here with Layden Robinson, the rookie. He is a little bit undersized for a guard at this stage, but we did see a lot of success kind of springing him into those swing type of blocking plays and kind of pulling him over to the more dominant side. And that's where I think the Patriots kind of introduced some of their more newer concepts that they frankly haven't been able to with the offensive line and all the reshuffling. So that was interesting to see. But, of course, when you're talking about the offense, you have to talk about Drake Maye, who it was a very similar game to, honestly, how they played against the Colts. Just more so they were losing for the majority of the game. But from an offensive standpoint, I think that Drake Maye just has such a great understanding of this offense. And he's played so extremely efficient. And on the day, really only had one poor play in my mind, which was the overthrow to Kayshon Boutte on that scramble play. And other than that, I think he did a great job of kind of handling all the different looks that the Cardinals defense were giving him. And there were a couple throws in particular that he just made some really nice throws on. The KB down the sideline, man. That was a perfect ball and a great catch by Kendrick there. I can't overstate it. That was like a literal perfect ball there by Drake Maye. And that's something that the Patriots have to start hitting on this season is one-on-one beat man coverage on the outside. And it's either going to be Kayshon Boutte or Kendrick Bourne in those scenarios there. And a great job there by Kendrick Bourne of beating that guy down the field. And a great catch by Kendrick on just a perfect throw by Drake Maye there. But as I said before, Drake Maye's understanding of this offense has just been terrific. There are times where teams are honestly afraid to play him at man sometimes, which is surprising considering the receiving core. But they're just so afraid of his threat of running that they're playing a ton of zone against him, which is encouraging. And he's just done such a good job getting his tight ends involved, whether it's Hunter or Austin Hooper. He's done a real nice job of kind of diagnosing defenses, whether it's kind of hitting one of those speed outs or maybe a scat across the middle of the field, the post, to some of the tight ends. Those are two of his favorite targets on the play. And the tight ends had another nice day here. They really are probably the biggest focal point of this offense between the running game as well as the passing game. But like I said before, Drake Maye's one error on the day really was that overthrow to Kayshon Boutte. And even the interception, that I do not ping that whatsoever on Drake Maye. I think he more so kind of wanted Kayshon Boutte to stop, or at least he's protecting him from taking a big hit, leading him into a zone defender there. I think he wanted them to stop it in between the zones there. And frankly, that's just a ball that Kayshon Boutte has to catch. It's not even contested. There wasn't much in the area of any defenders in the area, really, that would prevent him from catching that ball. That was just a flat-out drop, and of course it ends up being intercepted there. And I do not put that interception on Drake Maye whatsoever, and he just continues to look better and better, whether it's diagnosing defenses or honestly just making a few throws that really are impressive on the day. And as I said before, that one throw to Kayshon Boutte was not the best, and I do think that he had a little bit of a misfire, but Kendrick Bourne was still able to come down with it. I believe it was on that quick slant or that little quick in there. He did throw it a little bit behind Kendrick Bourne. KB came down with another catch that ultimately set up that field goal there by Joey Slye. But I would say that the offense overall on the day played well. I was just a little confused at times with Alec Van Pelt's play calling in key instances, as well as you got to be better on third down. I don't think the Patriots actually converted a third down on the day, so that's not an encouraging sign there. But I would overall say that the pass protection got much better later on into the game, whether it was because of the offensive line's improvement or how Arizona kind of started dropping more guys back instead of sending more pressure. But Drake Maye on the day throws that touchdown. I mean, just an absolute showing off his playmaking abilities there by Drake Maye, that kind of flip pass to Demario Douglas after scrambling out the pocket, and of course ran that ball in there, wherein the Cardinals absolutely sent the house on the blitz, just absolutely beat every defender that was blitzing him with his speed. And I think that was the one instance where the Cardinals were playing a little bit of man coverage on the play there. Of course, in the red zone, there really isn't that big deep ball threat of Drake Maye kind of beating you. But Drake Maye just did a real nice job seeing everyone was covered, say, hey, I'm going to just tug and run. And, of course, he outsped every defender there. So another really encouraging game for Drake Maye. And at times I do think that this offense is taking a step forward. But then, of course, there's always 1 to 2 plays, whether it's penalties, drop balls, or turnovers that ultimately end up hurting this offense. So they just have to play a complete game here. And unfortunately, after the bye, I thought that this might have been a week that they were able to, but unfortunately, they were unable to. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, I was underwhelmed with both the performance of the defense as well as the play calling, and I'm really questioning whether or not DeMarcus Covington is going to remain the defensive signal caller next year, because I think there are just times where it's a lack of awareness or a lack of understanding the football situations, and it's the same scheme from last season. For the majority, it's the same type of players. The only big difference is that it's not Steve Belichick calling that game. It is DeMarcus Covington. And there are times where the lack of awareness just shows. I mean, last week, especially I alluded to, it was the 2nd and 13 play where the Patriots has had guys off the line of scrimmage, 10 yards back. And there were times or even in this game where that occurred. And frankly, there was 2 plays in particular. I think they were both on the drive of Arizona's last touchdown drive where the Patriots are only rushing 4 on both instances here. And I think at one of them was actually they were rushing 3 and Brendan Schooler came on one of the secondary rushes. And they're playing zone coverage on the back end. And I understand you're facing Kyler Murray and you don't want to necessarily play some man coverage because there's a threat that he can run. But when you're sending only 4 and you're playing zone coverage, you're going to give Kyler Murray too much time to allow any of the secondary defenders to make the play on the ball there. And Kyler Murray absolutely had all day to throw on both the occasions, which allowed Arizona to convert timely third downs there. And frankly, like those are just the type of situational awareness things from a defensive play caller where you're like, that's where this team is lacking from a previous season before. Because I understand it's different circumstances with the Belichick defense, considering the quarterbacks that they faced last year and honestly the offenses. And I understand that they're facing a lot tougher competition this season from an offensive perspective. But there are times where this defensive coaching staff just looks clueless. And frankly, it's on the players to make plays. But this defensive coaching staff certainly is not helping them out. And I'm going to wonder if Jerod Mayo ever steps up and says, hey, maybe I'll take over the defensive play calling duties. Or maybe someone from the front office, maybe it's Elliott Wolf, says, hey, someone else needs to be calling this defense because DeMarcus Covington is crippling this defense's chances of being a good defense. And I don't want to call for DeMarcus Covington's job, as you know, obviously that's pretty rude and shit. But there are times where like this coaching staff is holding back this defense, I feel. And then there are also times where this defense is not performing at the same capacity that they did last season. I mean, there are times where they're frankly just not holding off the edge, like not allowing guys to bounce back to the outside. And there was a couple plays today in particular that really hurt the Patriots. One of them was, I think it might have actually been the touchdown drive as well, the last touchdown drive. But it's Jelani Tavai versus James Conner in the flat. And James Conner makes Jelani Tavai miss on third down, picks up the conversion. And he was down at the 1. But it was ultimately almost a touchdown from that play. But those are the type of plays that this defense has not made this season. And his key plays. Jelani Tavai had a very mixed day for me because there were some times where he broke some he had a couple of missed tackles. But there are also times where he got great penetration and honestly blew up some plays. And unfortunately, both the plays that I think he blew up on the day, they still gained solid yardage on the rushing attack because no one else beat their man on the play. And that's just been a problem all season long with this team, the inability to get pressure or the inability to stop the run. And I don't want to blame that on scheme because I do think it's a personnel issue and there have been a ton of injuries, but the scheme certainly doesn't help. And the Patriots have a lot of smaller defenders in their linebacking core or secondary, and that's probably why they're not a good run defense team. And especially when guys are going down on the defensive line, it does not help whatsoever there. But as I said before, a couple of costly plays. But I will give the defense a little bit of benefit here. They got absolutely screwed by the officials on that Kyler Murray interception. I mean, I understand the league is going to protect the quarterbacks. But that was a god-awful call. I mean, it's third down. It was just a stupid-ass decision by Kyler Murray. I mean, the announcers kind of alluded to how he's been having some really bad turnovers of late. That was obviously one of them, and he got completely bailed out by the officials there. But, I mean, he's taking off on third down. And to his credit, he did get rid of the ball before the line of scrimmage. But, I mean, from a defender's standpoint, what are you supposed to do? It looks like he's going to run. And not only that, he makes a jump throw where he kind of coils his body after he throws the ball. And unfortunately, I believe it was Anthony Jennings who got called for the helmet-to-helmet hit. What is he supposed to do there? I mean, that's the quarterback putting himself in a bad position to take a big hit. And it's a third down. You're trying to get them off the field. Like, what are you supposed to do? And I understand technically that's the right call from an official standpoint. But the NFL has to do a better job of letting these referees have a perspective. Because that is such a terrible and a boneheaded time to throw the flag, considering the offensive player themselves did absolutely nothing to protect themselves. And that's just screwing over the defense for simply trying to make a play in a crucial spot. And at the time, that would have been a game-changing play. I'm not saying the Patriots would have won by any means, because frankly, Arizona just beat them up offensively all day. But at the time, I think it was 16-3, and that was after the Patriots just halted in the red zone. Who knows? If that interception stands, Patriots go down, they score, it's a one-score game. And maybe the game turns out different. But, I mean, that call was absolutely atrocious. And luckily on that drive anyways, the Patriots actually were able to force a punt on that drive. But that call was such a defining play in this game, and it was so deflating for the defense. And I don't want to blame it all on that, because the defense overall just did not have a good day whatsoever. But the officiating certainly did not give them any breaks on that day, or in that play right there. So, little bit of a rant there, but, I'd like to see this defense play better, and maybe some changes are needed for the defensive play caller. I do want to give a big-time shout-out to Christian Ellis on the day, as well as Gonzo, because Gonzo was absolutely all over Marvin Harrison Jr., and he made him look like a rookie. He really had one big play on him on the day, and that's just a man-beater core concept by the Cardinals, a good route there by Marvin Harrison Jr., and that's a tough route to defend by Christian Gonzalez. But not only does he adjust later in the game to that same route and make a play, he was absolutely gluing Marvin Harrison Jr. on the day, and that's just showing why he's the top corner, and he really did make Marvin Harrison Jr. look like a rookie. And Gonzo just continues to develop after game here, and he really has become one of the top corners in this league. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this breakdown of the Patriots versus the Cardinals. Unfortunate L for the Patriots, and frankly, would have liked them to respond better after the bye week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as I said before, thank you so much again for watching.